What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Jose Show. Happy Thursday. All right, now let's get into the hot topics. Now let's talk about Charlotte Flair. So Charlotte Flair just publicly opened up on her divorce from Andrade for the first time, and it's clear the decision to split from her former love tore her apart. So the WWE superstar sat down with Sherri Shepherd to promote the upcoming WrestleMania 41 event on Friday's episode of Sherri, and at one point in the conversation, she got emotional when asked how she handled her breakup with Manuel Alfonso Andrade Oropeza while she was trying to return to the ring from a serious knee injury. So Flair told Shepherd simply, "I didn't," and began to break down in tears. "So I felt like I was failing at my job," she said. "I felt like I was failing at my personal life." She then took a pause. "Hold on," she told Shepherd. "Let me gather myself." Okay, so Flair began dating Andrade in 2019, and a year later they got engaged in 2022. They wed at a lavish ceremony in Mexico. But in 2024, just a few months after she tore her ACL, MCL, and meniscus during a match with Asuka, she chose to file for divorce, and she said the whole situation took a toll on her mental health. Okay, so she got to say this. "When I made the decision to file for divorce," she said, "the only thing I kept thinking was I just didn't want anyone to know." She added that at one point she thought to herself, "Oh my gosh, I have failed again." Okay, so Flair eventually rehabbed her knee and returned to the squared circle and ultimately won the Women's Royal Rumble in February. Days later, though, her divorce became public, and she said she once again went into a dark place. So this is really sad. Jesus Christ, I feel so sorry for this girl. Whatever the situation was as to what led to this divorce, I can imagine that, of course, it's really heartbreaking first and foremost, because I believe that all divorces are very heartbreaking because we're all expecting to have a really beautiful time with our spouse for the rest of our lives, and that is exactly what Charlotte was expecting. Now, the reason behind it, in my opinion, and what I'm imagining, could be that maybe the reason to why they divorced was because maybe her ex-husband was doing her dirty. And by doing her dirty, I can imagine that maybe the man was cheating on Charlotte behind her back, and then Charlotte found out in a very hard way that that was going on. Or another reason as to why they ended up divorcing could have been maybe because there was abuse going on in the household and none of us knew about it, or maybe there was a lot of mental emotional stress going on to the point that maybe the man was going so harsh on the woman, because I believe that the man might have said a bunch of mean things to her that affected her so much that Charlotte couldn't take it anymore but to go off and separate and then divorce the man that she was with. I'm just making my own opinions here and my own guesses here. I'm not trying to confirm anything, but I really think that Charlotte Flair, of course, is going to need a lot of time to get over all of this, because I mean, it's only been maybe a few months or maybe a year since the divorce happened, and I think that, of course, therapy might come in along really well with all of this. Or if I were her, I would also go out to the beach, go out to the lake, go out and do something fun by herself or with her friends in order to let go of all of the things that she has been managing in from the divorce. Because honestly, let's be realistic, a divorce is something that is really harsh, and it's so harsh to the point that you just feel like so depressed, so crazy, to the point that you don't know what to do with your own life. And you know, it really does break my heart too that Charlotte Flair was breaking into tears in front of Sherri Shepherd, saying it all on how she felt about the situation and how much she really wishes that she was still with her husband, you know? And I did see some photos, by the way, here and there where she was, you know, being happy with her husband, or her now ex-husband, Manuel. And of course, the both of them looked really cute together by an ocean, you know, smiling it out and looking at each other in a very romantic way. And, you know, they were basically like inseparable. And that really looked like it to me and to so many people out there, that the marriage was gonna go on forever. Now, this Manuel guy, by the way, he is really handsome, and of course, Charlotte Flair is a very beautiful woman. But I believe that life really gives us a lot of mysteries in this case, and maybe in the near future Charlotte Flair is going to find herself another man that will treat her really well and that will hopefully last with her. I don't know, I'm just thinking, but good luck to this woman, Charlotte Flair. I wish her nothing but the best. Okay, now on to the next topic. Now, let's talk about something really interesting. So, O.J. Simpson's getting a shout out in the upcoming Naked Gun film reboot, but it's not exactly a ringing endorsement. The trailer just dropped for the Naked Gun, and after a jarring image of Liam Neeson showing off his strawberry underwear underneath a skirt and schoolgirl outfit, there's a joke about the juice. So, there's a clip where it shows that the movie is all about the next generation of police squad cops, and it seems they are all children of the OG Naked Gun stars. Well, in one scene, Liam's character is in the police squad's Hall of Legends weeping over his dad Leslie Nielsen's LT Frank Drebin, but OJ doesn't get the same love from his own character's son. Alright, so Simpson played Detective Nordberg in the first three Naked Gun flicks, and in the reboot, his character's kid just shakes his head when looking at a plaque of his dad. So, OJ's appearances in the OG Naked Gun film series from 1988 to 1994 all happened before his criminal murder trial and controversial acquittal in the 1994 murders of his ex-wife Nicole Brown and her friend Ron Coldman. Okay, so the trial pretty much ended OJ's acting career. Alright, so anyways, I think that there is a really good reason to why this guy, O.J. Simpson, ended up getting a shout out in a very negative way by his son in this movie or in this reboot that basically was about O.J. Simpson in the past, by the way. Because if they were to be giving him a shout out in a really good way, trust me, there would be a lot of harsh criticism because nobody likes O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson, we all know him as this murderer. We all know him as this crazy guy that is a psychopath, basically. And if everybody were to go off and be praising O.J. Simpson and just looking at O.J. Simpson's past in sports and so, then that would lead to so much people being like, oh my God, well, why are we praising a man for his sports, and why are we praising a man for being the champ in sports when we can actually look at the reality of who he really was behind the closed doors when he was murdering his own wife and he was murdering his wife's friend? And we also have to look at the fact that we should not be praising abuse, and we should not be praising any narcissist out there that's doing all of these things. So at the end of the day, if everybody were to be praising this man in this sequel, then it would be giving out a really bad message. So that's what this whole entire point is about here. So I'm actually happy about the fact that O.J. Simpson was actually looked at as a really bad person by giving a really bad smirk towards his plaque in this sequel, and it wasn't all, oh my God, I love you type of thing. So I also feel like this is also really interesting how there is a sequel for a Naked Gun reboot or a Naked Gun movie or show or whatever, because I wasn't expecting a reboot from all of this. I was actually expecting that it would all end in the past and that it would all just be, the thing of the past and just the thing of the past, and that's it. I wasn't really expecting that there would be a continuation of all of this, especially because we do not want to look at a reboot of a series or of a show about a guy that murdered his own wife in the past. And it's not about that, but it's about the guy himself, if I'm making sense. So we don't want to be looking at that, and we don't want to be remembered of that. So anyways, this is really interesting. Now on to the next topic. Now let's talk about something really serious. So YouTube star Kid Kypri got hit with the felony domestic violence charge after being caught on camera hitting his girlfriend, and she told police this incident started with an argument about something stupid. So violent viral video shows a man who cops say is Kid Kypri beating the crap out of a woman in a bedroom, punching her multiple times in the head and ribs in a vicious beatdown. So Kid Kypri, government name Kypri Darnell Taylor, was arrested in Michigan for aggravated domestic violence, a felony according to online records. So the social media star's girlfriend told police they were arguing about something stupid before Kypri hit her in the face. According to the arrest affidavit obtained by TMZ, cops say the woman had significant swelling under her eye and on her cheek. Okay, so police say the incident happened Sunday in Battle Creek, and the town's police sergeant tells us Kypri fled the scene on foot after cops were called, but was found nearby and arrested and booked into Calhoun County Jail. Alright, so cops say Kid Kypri has at least one prior conviction for domestic violence. He's scheduled to be arraigned later today. This is really insane. This just comes to show that Kid Kypri is nothing but a freaking psychomaniac that enjoys hitting girls and that enjoys hating on people. Now, I think that this guy should not even be on YouTube anymore, because if he's going to continue to be on YouTube, then he's just going to be showing his hypocrite self like he's the good guy and everything, and he's going to be victimizing himself for the whole entire situation, and that's not good. I feel like he needs to have a little dignity, and he needs to completely quit social media as a whole. I don't even think that these kind of people are really good influencers to begin with. I feel like a really good influencer is somebody that does not hit their girlfriend and that does not spread hate around the world, and that is somebody that is spreading love and that actually cares about other people, and that is actually giving good advice on YouTube, giving good advice all over social media, because that's how it should be, especially in the world that we live in that is unfortunately divided. So I think that it's people like him that are really making this world completely divided, and I do think that this guy is going to be facing a lot of prison time for what he just did, because domestic violence is no damn joke. We are all just afraid of people like this, especially because unfortunately these people, when they are hitting you hard. They are wanting to kill you. They are wanting to do a bunch of bad things to you, and that is exactly what this guy did to his girlfriend. So I really think, in my personal opinion, that if he really didn't learn his lesson the moment that he got to hit his girlfriend, then I really hope that he got to learn his lesson now that he is going into jail, and now that he is facing some prison time, I'm pretty sure, for what he did. I'm just saying. But anyways, this is really insane, and man, I really hate these kind of people. Now on to the next topic. Now let's talk about Wendy Williams. Okay, so Wendy Williams has a new legal mind on her side. Famed attorney Joe Tacopina says he's serving as her personal attorney. Alright, so Tacopina, who has represented big stars like President Donald Trump, former Yankee Alex Rodriguez, and most recently A$AP Rocky, appeared on TMZ Live Thursday to talk about it. So there is a vid that confirms that he is representing Wendy, though as of right now, it's strictly as her personal attorney. Tacopina says he will be at her guardianship case, but guardianship attorneys have to be approved by a judge, so he's still going through that process. So Tacopina says he's making motions as her counsel of choice and tells us about a range of potential approaches he has in mind. Now, there is a full clip that shows that he points out a key phrase Wendy's known for was essentially used against her in her frontotemporal dementia diagnosis, something our own documentary TMZ Presents Saving Wendy goes into detail about. So Tacopina's comments come just a couple days after fans started lining up outside Wendy's assisted living facility to demonstrate for her freedom, chanting and picketing in the streets. Alright, so Anyways, this is really interesting. I think that Joe Tacopina should be her attorney if this guy is actually going to save Wendy in general. Because I think that it is about damn time that Wendy Williams gets to have her own damn freedom because she deserves it, ladies and gentlemen. She has been under this guardianship for a few years now, and I think that it's highly unjustified because let's remember that not so long ago, Wendy Williams was diagnosed with not having any dementia and being fully capacitated as a person. So that means that she is able to live her life on her own. But I believe that the people behind this legal case are actually against the fact that Wendy Williams should be out and about on her own, and they think that she has dementia and they think that she is incapacitated because of the fact that they don't really know Wendy Williams all that well. I think that it actually takes somebody to actually know Wendy Williams well, to actually know that Wendy Williams is not incapacitated. And also, I believe that the proof that she is fully capacitated, especially after her diagnosis, is already saving her life. It's already her hero, so that way she can get out of the whole entire guardianship for once and for all. And I think that if Wendy Williams were to be out of this freaking case, trust me, Wendy Williams will be herself and she'll be out in the TV business. She'll be, doing podcasts. She'll be doing interviews, and she'll actually be herself and she'll actually live her life. So this whole entire case, I can compare it to the whole entire Britney Spears case, because I know that Britney Spears was also going through a hell of a guardianship, but Britney Spears was going through a longer guardianship. She was going through a 13-year hell of a guardianship, and it was all unjustified because Britney Spears was no longer doing any alcohol nor drugs. She was clean for a very long time. Now, what the difference is that Wendy Williams is under a guardianship because of the fact that she supposedly has dementia and she's incapacitated. Okay, it doesn't have anything to do with drugs nor alcohol. Well, I also believe here that, this is so darn sad that from being a successful talk show host for 13 years, having her own talk show, by the way, and being the queen of daytime talk and being the queen of gossip and the queen of shade and making us laugh every single day, all of a sudden she ends up in a situation like this where now everybody is pointing fingers at her that she's incapacitated and that she is not really well fully minded, supposedly. Like, that's so darn sad. I can't believe that things would turn out to be into this direction, ladies and gentlemen. So I really hope that there is some justice going on here with this whole entire case and that Joe Tacopina can actually serve her a lot of justice. All right, I'm hoping. I mean, if Joe Tacopina was able to serve justice towards the ASAP Rocky case, then I think and I'm hoping that he's able to serve a lot of justice towards the whole entire Wendy Williams case for once and for all, ladies and gentlemen, because Wendy Williams deserves to be free. All right, now that is it for today's show, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's lovely episode of The Jose Show. Till next time, and peace.